Tomorrow, tighter restrictions begin on when and where you need to wear a mask.
We have extensive team coverage tonight on the tighter restrictions. We begin with CBS 17's Colleen Quigley. She's getting answers on how those new rules will be enforced. Colleen.
Well, Marius, I spoke with several local governments today. A lot of them telling me their focus isn't on immediate enforcement. Instead, they're focusing on maintaining education, letting businesses and people know what these rules are, how they have to follow them, rather than citing them right away, despite pleas from the governor to actually step up enforcement.
This week, masks will be required more often and in more places in North Carolina as COVID-19 tightens its grip. Governor Cooper is also asking stores to double down on limiting the number of people inside to slow the virus's spread.
We're getting to a critical situation. We believe that with these rules in place, that if we get more compliance and better enforcement, then we can stem the tide.
But several local governments say education rather than immediate enforcement is their plan. Raleigh's mayor told CBS 17 this weekend the fire marshal with city event staff will explain the rules to retail stores similar to how they've dealt with bars and restaurants, but will cite them if they have to return for a second time. She said they'll consider stepping up enforcement if that plan doesn't work. In Durham, Mayor Steve Schul says they might consider civil fines similar to what Greensboro has done, but says enforcement is rarely needed. Quote, voluntary community compliance, which is very high in Durham, will continue to be the key to our safety. And Carey, a spokesperson, said they're reviewing the new executive order to see if they need to make any changes. But based on positive responses so far, quote, our focus on education is working and we'll be increasing our efforts in this area. Officials in Wake Forest say they'll, quote, continue to use their discretion to address violations on a case-by-case basis. Governor Cooper's office said they appreciate the businesses and law enforcement who are enforcing the executive order, saying, quote, these measures are most effective when people work together to prevent the spread of this deadly virus.
Now, one important thing to note, the towns and cities that we just mentioned in that report, like Raleigh and Durham, are all in counties that are designated as yellow by the state for their amount of community spread. They have significant spread, whereas other counties are designated as red, meaning they have critical levels of community spread. I did reach out to several towns and cities that are in some of those red counties. I wanted to see how they're handling this, if it's any different. I didn't hear back from any in time by my deadline, but I'll be sure to check back in with them. For now, reporting live in Raleigh, Colleen Quigley, CBS 17 News.
Colleen, thank you. Now, everyone who dines out will now be asked to wear a mask when they're not actively eating or drinking.